walked on at Texas Tech. He transfers to Oklahoma without ever contacting us.
If I'm Cleveland, if I'm new GM John Dorsey, if I'm a team that has become the punchline of the league because I have whiffed on quarterbacks, sometimes because I've gone with the prototype in Tim Couch, sometimes because I've gone with the high upside guy in Johnny Manziel, I would have gone with the safest guy. I think the safest guy was one of the two quarterbacks from Southern California. They went with a guy who they think can be the best.
I'm here for a reason. I need to believe in myself and just go play ball.
Was there a faster quarterback in the draft?
Yes.
Was there a guy with a bigger arm in the draft?
Yes.
Was there a guy that was better at reading defenses in the draft?
Yes.
His personality ain't gonna make it through.
Baker to the end zone. Derek Willis. Touchdown.
When you're bringing in a quarterback with the #1 overall pick, this guy has to be money because you've messed up so flagrantly over the last 2 decades. You passed on Donovan McNabb. You passed on Drew Brees. You passed on Aaron Rodgers. You passed on Big Ben Roethlisberger. You passed on Carson Wentz. You passed on Deshaun Watson. Everywhere you turn, the Cleveland Browns have been absolutely, totally inept in embarrassing proportions. So if you have that reality that's staring you in your face, it's got to be money for this particular franchise. It's got to be a sure thing.
Sometimes the best laid plans don't work out at all in the NFL, and that can actually be okay because the Browns were supposed to let Baker Mayfield sit for a little while. He was supposed to observe Tyrod Taylor, but then Tyrod Taylor suffers a concussion last night against the Jets, and Baker Mayfield goes into the phone booth and Superman comes out, leading Cleveland to its first win since 2016. What you saw with Baker Mayfield last night is what you saw in college. He can improvise, keep a play alive. He's not afraid. He threw the ball in tight spots. He made plays when he needed to make plays.
The Cleveland Browns not only took Baker Mayfield #1, they thought he was far better than every other quarterback. No, I'm serious. So, by taking Baker 1, what you're saying is, we think Baker is so much better than Rosen, so much better than Darnold, so much better than Lamar Jackson, so much better than Josh Allen that we got to take him #1. Okie dokie. Now let me say this about Baker Mayfield. I think he's undersized. I think he lacks maturity and judgment. And I think he's a marginal athlete who likes to run more than he's going to be able to in the NFL. I just think his ceiling is really, really low. And people think he's the next Russell Wilson and Drew Brees. I do not. But they didn't maximize an opportunity that you almost never get in this league. The chance to get the best offensive player, and they failed.
As Mayfield fires over the middle, it's caught, and then still going. It's Darren Fells into the end zone for a touchdown, 49 yards.
Why is this guy good and that guy bad, both coming out in the top 5 in the draft? Character, personality, drive, intelligence, and hard work? Is it about height? No. What it is, the differentiating factor is hard work and character.
Mayfield, end zone, Landry, touchdown.
Baker Mayfield has walked on to 2 programs. He's been a Heisman nominee twice, won it once. He has completed over 70% of his passes, put his team in a national championship game. Baker Mayfield is a good bet. You want to bet on a personality? You just found the one to lay your money down on.
my expectation is that he will firmly plant himself in not only like the great young quarterback in the NFL situation, but one of just our great quarterbacks. And no matter what the age, sky's the limit for this kid.
Mayfield end zone, caught, touchdown, Rashard Higgins.
Baker's a star. He's going to be a star, but is Baker Mayfield going to prove himself worthy of the #1 pick of the draft? Yes. Did the Browns get it right? Yes. Right now, is he the biggest reason that a team that won 1 game in the previous 2 years already has 4 wins this year? Yes. Are we seeing a week-by-week progression of him that is greater than what we're seeing from any of the other rookie quarterbacks? Yes. I can say that confidently right now. He's talking to his teammate, he's talking to the fans of Cleveland saying, I've got this. I'm the face of this football team, the leader of this football team. The past is the past.
He's setting the league on fire. Second highest completion percentage to Drew Brees. He has underneath that what all the greats have. The reason he has that mentality is because he's insanely competitive. He's a self-motivated guy who wants to be a champion.
Taking somebody who might be 6'1", might be at the top of a draft. That's why Drew Brees went in the 2nd round. That's why Russell Wilson went in later rounds. You take quarterbacks who are, if you will, vertically challenged later on. You don't take them #1 overall unless this person has it. And Baker Mayfield certainly showed a whole boatload of it. He came through the television set last night. It just burst through the television set. The minute he strolled onto the field, Baker Mayfield has that it. You draft a kid who's got it. You don't bottle it. You unleash the it. Unleash the it. This kid is so good. You could see the way he throws the ball, how decisive he is, what he sees. He goes for it, he plants his leg, and he cocks the arm, and he drills it. The Cleveland Browns faithful have been dying for this. It's the way he looks. Takes his helmet off. He's got like the Federer headband on, and the way he handled it last night, too. On the NFL Network last night, at the podium last night, he didn't come across as cocky at all. He came across as professional, of being a leader, and ready to do it again.
Second quarter, 2nd down and 13 for the Browns. As Mayfield throws complete, Chubb will take it in for a Cleveland touchdown.
A star in the NFL is born. I mean, as simple as that. This is a guy who continues what has been a trajectory unlike any player in my memory. A walk-on at 2 schools who at his 2nd school, his 2nd to last year, sets the all-time college football efficiency mark. The next year breaks his own mark en route to winning the Heisman. Goes #1 despite being maybe 6 feet tall. And in his first action for a team that hadn't won in a couple years, not only leads them to victory, but they were down 14-0 when he comes into that football game. All of a sudden, passes that were being missed were not only pinpoint accuracy, but high velocity. This is a Browns team that in the last decade was 1-39 when trailing by double digits at the half.
Wow.
And they won last night. He infused this team with swagger, and most importantly, he infused this team with skill. And I watched Baker Mayfield and I said, this is why this guy has exceeded all expectations at every level.
Play action on first down for Baker Mayfield, and he's going to go deep, and he's got a receiver downfield, and he's got it.
In field goal range, 3rd and 9. Mayfield rips it. End zone. Touchdown. Mayfield. Touchdown.
There sits the only king I mean to bend my knee to. The King of the North!
The King in the North. My sword is yours, and victory and defeat, from this day until my last day.
The King in the North!
The King in the North!
The King in the North! The King in the North! The King in the North! The King in the North! The King in the North! The King in the North!
And again, going empty. Here's Mayfield going to the end zone. Got a man open. That's caught for the touchdown.
The most important thing is winning, and that's the one thing I know how to do. I was never thinking about all the quarterbacks we've had play in the past year. You know, I've always told myself I'm different, and the past is the past. You got to hit the reset button. You got to take the next step forward.